Kalen might be the most overall improved player in the
Mm-hmm.
Why so?
I just think that his one I think is evident of his peers electing him captain. I think that was the area that we asked him to improve the most in. And you know, when you're a running back and a guy that gets the ball all the time, you know, it's you know, sometimes those guys, they, you know, to get them to mature is difficult, because it's sometimes it's very eye oriented. And man, getting elected captain by his peers, and I'll be honest with you, you know, that was something that I was, you know, I was a little surprised by. And I think it you know, is an indicator of how hard he worked, and you know, served his teammate with his attitude and effort. And then, you know, just in the game, he's just so much more mature. Obviously, last week he got dinged up, so he didn't he wasn't available a lot of the game, and having him and DeMario out was challenging. But he's just had I do think he's the most improved guy, one of the most improved guys for sure. He's got, you know, great athleticism, and I think he's running the ball harder. I think he's you know, down around the goal line and stuff like that, and short yardage situation, he's really having a mentality about himself. And you know, that's why I said that, because I really believe that.
Did it surprise you that he was elected captain, because he just didn't seem like that guy?
No, I mean, it was just not, you know, yeah, I mean, he changed. He always, every guy in our program works hard, but that's kind of just a minimum expectation. I think that he changed, you know, being a guy. You know, he's competitive. Guys are competitive. They want the ball. When they're younger, you know, they complain about it and those type of things. And you know, I just think that I was just impressed by that, because it's not how I thought it would turn out. You know what I'm saying? And not that he was, you know, doing anything negative. He's never been a negative guy. He's done a good job being productive. But I kind of challenged him. I challenged him to you know, to play more snaps. I think he's touched the ball 20 times the first week, and maybe, I don't know, 16 or 18 last night was 18, something like that. So, you know, and that's something that you know, he hasn't done in the past. And so you know, I just think he's improved from his you know, his mental maturity, and just his approach has been one that you can tell how much it means to him. Well, I'll tell you, that was what I was talking about at halftime, and you know, we need to get him in there and get him going, especially whenever we had Kalen and DeMario wasn't available for a lot of the second half, and that's something we've talked about as a staff, that we need to be able to do. Obviously, we got Nick Ross. Nick did a good job when he got in there as well. You know, I think there's you know, we'd like to play with two backs a lot of the time, and even, you know, Traylon Smith is a guy that's ready to play. I mean, so you know, but on the same hand, I mean, you know, Coach Napier's got to feel comfortable with that, and they do, you know, they've got to. I do think that was something I was saying at halftime. I wanted to get him in the game, because I think that, you know, a lot of people are a little leery sometimes with young guys, you know, and I just think that from what I've seen in camp, I think he can help us, you know, and we just got to, you know, our big thing is just improving fundamentally and getting good at what we do. We're not as far off as it might seem.
Coach, after the game, you said your team needs to find an identity. What would you like that?
I didn't say that. I said our offense, we need to have an identity.
What would you like that identity to be?
Well, exactly what our slogan is. You know, we want it to be, you know, our motto is Sun Devil Tough. And we talk about TTH being hardcore tough, hardcore discipline, and you know, we didn't do that. We didn't get we obviously didn't accomplish that Saturday, and we had to go bounce back. That's what I want our identity to be, is exactly what we trained for and we did all camp long. But our team is not. I don't think our team doesn't have an identity. I think we lost one game and played poorly. We didn't play to our potential in week one, but we won, and we got to figure out how to go get a win, and then you go to the next game. But we've played 2 games, so. No, I mean because he'd performed well in camp. But I was impressed by that last catch. I mean, I thought he's a guy that's really coming on. I love his demeanor, you know. And here's the thing about it. We got a whole lot of guys that are doing things right. So much of it is us getting our execution down, and what's hampering that is making mistakes, which you have to look at how much you're doing. And so that's the things that we've got to do, because we've got to get rolling and score points on offense. And obviously we gave up the kickoff return for a touchdown. Then we gave basically a field goal off of Shane Pond, which we just, and that's what something surprised me is how we didn't play very well in special teams, and we have played pretty well on special teams. So that was, I think, was a big detriment field position wise and point wise. And then game's about a few plays, and you make a play here and there, and I think we could have had a chance to take the lead there. It might have been different, but you can't make that many mistakes, and we're just making too many mistakes. And that's we got to do a better job coaching and preparation, and it's getting everybody on the same page. But there's lots of things that are we're not far off from where we need to be. We're nowhere near what we can be, and because we do have good players, and especially in the skill positions offensively, and we should be able to score points, and we should darn sure be able to run the ball better than we're running it, and that has to do with execution. And we had a lot of there's lots of factors. You can go and explain all that away. Nobody cares about that. Neither do I. It's about performance.
That's all right.
Yeah, he had a little. He should be back tomorrow. Had a little episode too.
And Maurice Chandler,
It's not in the too deep or wherever Phil's got him. I think he's got behind. Had some injuries and stuff, and guys have worked hard there, and. I'm excited. One thing I am excited about is we're going to, I think DeMario's going to be healthy. I think Kalen will be ready to go. I think Ryan Jenkins is going to be available. Ryan Newsom's going to be back, and I think DeMonte King and Evan Fields will be available. So got a lot more, less guys at Muscle Beach, and less guys, not playing.
what do you think DeMonte can give you?
I think Monte's a good football player. I really do. I think he can really give us. I think he's maturity. He's a good decision maker. He's a savvy player, and a tough guy. So I think it's going to help us a lot to have him in there. And you got Chad and I think Daz that have been solid, but. The biggest thing is just, and we're kind of learning there because we've got guys that don't have that much experience. Daz hadn't been a starter. Chad been a starter maybe a few games. But just making sure that because people are going to pop runs. You just got to get them down. And, we're being a little bit overly aggressive and kind of buried up in there, and then it pops. Well, they did a better job after that. But I think DeMonte's got some savvy on stuff like that, and that's what I've seen from him. So, I think that'll help us because obviously this is a week where we're going to be challenged in the back end.
So we talk about that challenge. Obviously, New Mexico State, totally different passing game than Texas Tech, but that was the game that secondary was challenged. More challenging than against San Diego State. Is there any takeaways you can take from that first game, even the different passing game?
Yeah, of course. I'm sure that's the one they'll study the most and look at. But and then obviously our last year game. And the thing about Tech is that Tech is a systems team. I mean, they're going to run what they run, and then they're going to throw a football. But the key is stop and run. You got to stop the run, and there's a lot of different ways they run the football. And some of them are disguised as, passes, what I'm saying, with screens and spots and all that. They got very good athletes. Quarterback's really good. But our whole deal's about us. And I can tell you that I like our secondary and the attitude from which they're working, and they are getting better. So this will be a big test. See where we're at.